After 14 years, you think we'd get sick of the same little green dude and his sword, but there's no way we can tire of the legendary Link and his quests. With awesome music, characters, fights, and fantastical journeys, we're sticking with Link all the way till the very end. And we hope that's never. Hi, I'm Brendan with the Leaderboard, and our quest is to give you the best info on our favorite sailing hero and his friends. So hoist your sails and unwind, because this is 107 facts about Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. Let's get started. Fact number 1. The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker was developed and published by Nintendo and released in North America in March 2003 for the Nintendo GameCube. Number 2. In October 2002, the official Japanese title Kaze no Takuto was announced. This roughly translates to Wind Baton, and led to many guesses as to what the English title may have been, none of which nailed it. A couple of months later in December, Nintendo revealed the name Wind Waker, and shortly after announced the release date. Fact number 3. The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker was the award-winning 10th edition of the series. This game featured a brand new design for the franchise, as well as all new gameplay. Wind Waker is the first game to show Link receiving his iconic green tunic. This serves as part of a tradition for his people on Outset Island, for all boys that come of age to dress as the hero of time. Number 4. Before production on Majora's Mask ended, designers already knew that GameCube would be Nintendo's next platform, so development on Wind Waker started just after the release of Majora's Mask. Wind Waker only took about 2.5 years to develop. Considering the history of Zelda games, that's actually pretty good. Number 5. The story explains that Link is the hero of time, stuck in a never-ending cycle in which the hero will once again rise to fight against evil, thus making this the first game in the series to explore alternate timelines through new character incarnates. Number 6. The Infinite Link's idea has been confirmed as truth amongst Nintendo game designers. According to Miyamoto himself, every Zelda game features a new hero named Link. That's canon. Miyamoto said it. Number 7. To set Wind Waker aside from the rest, game designers decided that the game should take place on the ocean, and since a sailboat is the best means of travel on the ocean, the wind concept basically took over. Number 8. Nintendo wanted to feature more wind in their games, but before GameCube was released, windy levels were kept to a minimum due to the limitations of the graphics at the time. GameCube's advanced processing power was the driving force behind Wind Waker. The creative team wanted to challenge themselves when it came to graphics, so they decided to utilize wind as the theme. Number 9. Nintendo has an interesting style to developing games. They tend to think of gameplay first, story second. For the Wind Waker, the first thing they wanted was a new style of movement, and they settled on sailing. After that, they came up with the basic idea that Hyrule got flooded, and then they came up with the story for the game. Number 10. The Wind Waker storyline takes place 100 years after the events in Ocarina of Time, and serves as an indirect sequel to the game. This is made apparent by the legend of the Hero of Time, which is clearly a reference to the Ocarina of Time. It's a lot of time stuff already, guys. We're only at number 10! Number 11. According to the Hyrule Historia, Wind Waker takes place in the New World timeline, following the events of Ocarina of Time, after adult Link defeats Ganon and travels back in time only to disappear. Number 12. In order to better enhance the game-playing experience, each of the characters were designed with their own personal AI. Characters were programmed to display a variety of actions, which in turn made the world seem a lot more alive and active. Number 13. The trademark toon shading design was created by artist Yoshiki Haruhana after he drew a toon-style Link illustration for fun. The graphic designer Satoru Takezawa saw this image and followed suit with a drawing of Moblin done in the same style. The team loved the cartoonish illustration so much they started development using this style. The first official concept art for the game was a battle between Link and two Moblins in a field. Number 14. Many fans were outraged over the new cartoonish design, but ultimately fell in love with the game itself. This was due to the fact that most fans were expecting a realistic design for Wind Waker, and received the opposite. Game designers knew there would be an initial shock over the new look, but overall they expected positive feedback. Instead, they themselves were shocked when fans expressed discontent, claiming the new approach was directed towards kids. Way to go, kids. Number 15. Nintendo's biggest strategy with this game was to show The Legend of Zelda in a whole new light. Designers were absolutely thrilled over the new toon-shaded Link, simply because it was an all-new original rendition of the beloved character. Number 16. Miyamoto stated that the new visual style would be the first thing people talked about, and he couldn't have been more accurate in his prediction. The new visual style became a brief controversy until the game eventually won fans over. Number 17. The expectations for a realistic-looking Zelda game started when a demo was released for Space World 2000. Fans assumed this was a clip from the next game, but it was actually just a GameCube demo and nothing more. Number 18. The irony behind this game is that even though it's cartoonish in design, the world was now more realistic than every game before it in regards to expression and animation. This was the first Zelda game where the designers took a very realistic approach towards facial expressions and reactions. It was a revolutionary focus for game developers at the time. Number 19. There are concept drawings of Link as an adult for Wind Waker. There are also concepts of his transitioning into an adult, suggesting that originally Link was supposed to age in the game similar to Ocarina of Time. Number 20. Many expected Wind Waker to have more voice acting, but Nintendo didn't like the idea of giving Link a voice this late in the franchise. They feared his voice would be liable to receive copious amounts of backlash. Number 21. Before Wind Waker, the box art never really matched the visual style of any Zelda game. It was also the first Zelda game to maintain the same artwork throughout all game platforms. The artwork was intended to completely set the tone of the game. Wind Waker was the milestone in which Nintendo had expressed the desire to tailor specific designs according to the different storylines. Number 22. You'll never see another Nintendo title with the Wind Waker graphic style. It's Nintendo's policy to create new artwork for their titles, not recycle the old. Number 23. The Wind Waker design was anime-inspired, but not by any titles in particular. Miyamoto does credit My Neighbor Totoro and Laputa as inspirational art styles, but since Nintendo strives for originality in their art, no styles were ever mimicked during development. Number 24. You can see some of the anime influence with Link's character design, like how his eyebrows are over his hair. It's pretty common in the anime format. Number 25. In early versions of the game, Link's eyes changed color. Most notably, they would get red when he was fighting. Miyamoto and the Nintendo crew decided to cut this feature though, because you usually look at Link's back when you're fighting. Number 26. Shigeru Miyamoto and Takashi Tezuka told the Wind Waker team that they needed a reason for Link's eyes to be so big. So the Wind Waker developers considered having Link shoot laser beams out of them. Sadly, a Cyclops-style Link did not make it into the Wind Waker. Number 27. Toon Link is always voiced by Japanese actress Sachi Matsumoto. Coincidentally, she also voiced the Skull Kid in Majora's Mask. The post-boss music is also the final hour score for Majora's Mask. Looks like they took a few things from that game. Yeah, because it's the best one. Number 28. Wind Waker has 7-minute day-to-night cycles set to your GameCube's internal clock. This can also be seen from the file selection screen, as the background will reflect the time of day that you're playing. Playing in the evening will show a night sky, playing in the daytime will show a cloudy blue sky, anything in between is also fair game. Number 29. The new look seemed to attract more women and more non-video game players than before. Several of the developers' wives attested to this fact at the time of the game's release, as they suddenly became interested in the franchise. Number 30. Wind Waker's main theme song is comprised of two different songs learned within the game. Those are Earth's God Lyric and Wind's God Aria. Most of the music in the game is composed of remixes or renditions of songs from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Number 31. The audio used for the choo-choos is actually an argument being held between two Japanese men. The audio is sped up and reversed to create the slime monster's familiar soundbite. When reversed and slowed down, the choo-choo's audio roughly translates into, "At least I'm not balding," for the first line, and the second line is, "And looking like you are, people will think you're a monster." Awkward. And ironic. Number 32. The three goddess statues look awfully similar to Pikmin. Matching shape and colors aside, the statues also resemble the Pikmin in that one has a nose, one a mouth, and the other has ears. Number 33. In certain releases of the game, Tetra's name is changed to Dazel, which is an anagram for Zelda. Pretty on the nose there, Miyamoto. Number 34. The song from the E3 2002 Wind Waker trailer was also the theme song from the 1982 classic adventure film Conan the Barbarian. The song is called Riddles of Steel by Basil Polidorus, and was also used for Ocarina of Time as well as the Twilight Princess in 2004. Number 35. Link speaks actual words for the very first time in Wind Waker. Although the character still doesn't talk much, he can be heard saying, "Come on occasion." That was my flawless Link impression. Number 36. Throughout the Legend of Zelda series, heroes have played harps, ocarinas, guitars, drums, and even the recorder, but the Wind Waker is one of the only games where Link technically does not play an instrument. During the Wind Waker, Fado, one of the sages, explains that though it may play musical notes, it is simply a magical baton used by the king to conduct the sages when communing with the gods. Number 37. Originally, Link wasn't even going to use a baton. According to director Eiji Aonuma, Link was going to play a theremin-type instrument, but he was worried players would wind up confused. Number 38. Real constellations can be spotted in the night sky. If you look closely, you can see Orion, the Big Dipper, and Cassiopeia. Aw man, who needs the real outdoors? Forget them, never go outside. Number 39. The world contains many cross-references to previous game storylines. For example, the beginning of this story explains the events of Ocarina of Time, while several masks can be spotted as reference to Majora's Mask behind Garlov's desk in the Nintendo gallery. Number 40. An Octorok sprite from the original Legend of Zelda can be spotted on Manny's bag in front of the Nintendo gallery. Number 41. The stained glass windows inside of the Master Sword Chamber of the Hyrule Castle depict the 7 sages from Ocarina of Time. Number 42. The Hyrule Historia revealed that the game was originally set to include a stovepipe island of steam and smoke, along with the GameCube island. Unfortunately, both designs were withdrawn from the game for unknown reasons. Number 43. The text on Phantom Ganon's sword translates to Zubora and Gubora, who are the 2 blacksmiths in Majora's Mask. This suggests the possibility of these 2 forging the sword and leaving their mark. Number 44. There is a hidden item accessible through the game's code called Water Boots. Its intended purpose is up to speculation, but when equipped with this item, the same animation is used as with the Iron Boots. Number 45. Fans speculate that the water boots were intended to help Link sink to the bottom of the ocean and allow for him to walk underwater. This is the same function that the iron boots served in Ocarina of Time. Number 46. A folder entitled Tinkle holds a model interior of a house using only 2 textures, the purpose of which is unknown. That sounds like a creepypasta. Number 47. Want to use cyclones to travel across the ocean? This little tip will do the trick. After saving Link's sister at Forsaken Forest, go to C4 or F3 where you will see a cyclone. Go near it and defeat the red frog Cyclos. Once defeated, Cyclos will teach you the Ballad of the Gales. Number 48. Like Navi in Ocarina of Time, the game was also said to feature a guide, only this time the guide was a cloud-riding frog. The guide idea was scrapped and the design was repurposed for the Zephos and Cyclos characters. Number 49. Link does have a specific animation for swimming and floating, but it's never seen due to the non-transparent appearance of the water. However, these actions can be viewed in the water test rooms. Number 50. The music was composed by Nintendo composer Koji Kondo, the same man who has been responsible for the Zelda soundtrack since day one. Thanks, Koji. Number 51. Using the Wind Waker, the developers included more aspects of music composition, including standard 3/4, 4/4, and 6/4 time signatures, represented by the amount of notes Link must conduct. Number 52. Miyamoto's goal with the music in the game was to get players to get up and dance along with the music. I mean, alright, I'll admit I've done a little jig to the Windfall Islands theme, but don't tell anyone. Number 53. Zephos and Cyclos represented actual Shinto gods. In the Japanese version of the game, they maintained their mythological names Raijin, the god of thunder, and Fujin, the god of wind. Number 54. Medley was created for the sole purpose of slowing Link down, as well as a temporary assist. Developers knew they wanted a secondary character for Link to carry around dungeons before Medley was ever created. Number 55. Originally, the game designers toyed with the idea of a fat Rito assisting Link before they settled on Medley. The idea was that they wanted the assisting character to fly, but not too well. Number 56. Makar was originally intended to be a flotation device, which gave Link the ability to walk on water. Link was also supposed to be able to hookshot onto Makar from any distance. The game developers thought it seemed a little too cruel, and so instead Makar plant seeds grow trees for Link to hookshot. Number 57. The character Tingle was only meant to appear in Majora's Mask, but due to popular demand, he was featured in Wind Waker. Tingle can be found trapped in a jail cell on Taora Island. Once a player frees Tingle, they have access to the Tingle Tuner, which means players could link their Game Boy Advance to the game. Number 58. The Tingle Tuner was added to the game so that family members and friends who aren't regular gamers could join in on the fun. It allowed for secondary players to tune in and help out without really getting involved in any action sequences. Number 59. If players choose to use the Tingle Tuner in the Tower of Gods dungeon, a secret story is revealed called the Legend of the Fairy. The story chronicles the tale of a fairy that once aided the hero of time. Yo, is that my boy Navi? Yo, Navi! Number 60. Wind Waker was the first game to feature a focus system in which Link was able to look at and focus in on certain objects and characters. The system was implemented as a way to indicate what could interact with Link in the game. Number 61. In the game, Link can steal a moblin's weapon and use it against him. This idea was discussed while reviewing the very first concept art for the game. Number 62. There are several test rooms left in the game that feature stagnant pools of translucent water. It's speculated that the rooms were for viewing Link's movement underwater, which would play into the water boots theory. Number 63. 2 unused sail icons can still be viewed inside of the game. One is labeled Zora Sail, and the other is labeled Tinkle Sail. At the same time, the boat speed was limited by the GameCube's capabilities, which is why Nintendo eventually introduced the Swift Sail in the HD release. Number 64. 2 dungeons were cut from the finalized version of the game so that the game could be released on time. Instead, these dungeons were replaced with the Triforce Fetch Quest. Once fans knew about the 2 missing dungeons, there was an uproar for the dungeons to be included in the HD release. But they weren't. The reason being that those dungeons were already utilized in other titles following the Wind Waker. Number 65. Since Twilight Princess had more dungeons than previous Zelda games, fans speculated that Nintendo included the missing Wind Waker dungeons into that game instead. Number 66. The Triforce Fetch Quest is one of the most disliked side quests in the entire franchise. It's so disliked that Nintendo actually apologized for it in 2005 for being so slow and dull. Number 67. Players can alter the background music slightly by entering Zelda as a username when beginning a new game. Music to all our ears. Number 68. It's possible to play through the entire game in Link's pajamas. If gamers save at the very end of one game, then start a new game using that same file, Link will no longer have on his hero clothes. In my pajamas is definitely how I played this game. Link and me are basically the same person. Number 69. Once the game has been successfully completed, Link will understand the ancient Hyrulean language. On a second playthrough, you can understand what the gods such as Valu and Jabun are saying. Number 70. If you bomb the rock in front of the cage that sits on the top of Outset Island, and then talk to the Great Fairy, she gives you a pouch filled with 5,000 rupees. Sweet. Number 71. There are 6 giant squids hidden throughout the ocean that contain rupees and other special items. To find them, just look for the seagulls circling in the sky. And, Captain Nemo. If you see Captain Nemo, there's probably a squid. Number 72. Players receive Flower 1 from Zunari after defeating God's Tower. If the player retrieves Flowers 2 and 3 afterwards and brings back the third one to Zunari, they will receive the Magic Shield, which cuts all damage taken in half. Number 73. There's an enemy HP scanner located on Windfall Island that enables you to see your opponent's hit points. After completing the hide and seek game, you can give Miss Marie Joy pendants. Once you give her 41 pendants, she will give you the scanner. Number 74. There are 2 pictures near the entrance of Hyrule Castle. One is of the king, and the other is of Princess Zelda with what looks like Tetra's pirates beside her. Number 75. There's a secret that makes refilling magic easy on Forest Haven Island. Allow yourself to be shot out of a giant flower several times and Link's magic will be restored. Another restoration trick? If you stand in front of a broken sign and play God's Wind area, the sign will magically restore itself. Number 76. Unlike previous games, there are no chickens to tease, but there are pigs who will get mad and attack you if you provoke them a certain amount of times. Be wary, however, because there's a small pig that can take a full heart, while the giant pigs on Offset Island can take 4 hearts. Number 77. It's possible to catch a free ride on beetle ships in the area where they patrol. Simply enter and exit the shop and stand still. After a while, the ship will set sail on its course. Number 78. It's easy to accidentally fish for trash. Sometimes when fishing for treasure near glowing marks in the sea, you may pick up an old boot instead. Number 79. There's a glitch that lets you walk around indoors with a bomb. Set the Tingle Tuner to Y and then quickly press Y and start pause to set up the bombs as Y in your inventory. When the game is unpaused, Link will be holding a bomb. Number 80. If you mess with Tingle's gold statues, he will flip out and try and hurt you. If you throw one into the sea, Knuckle will still talk about it when you return. Number 81. When shopping for a blue potion, Forest Haven might be your best bet. The Deku Baba plants at the entrance of the forest drop seeds, 5 of which can be traded for a blue potion at one of the Forest Haven ships. Number 82. You can encounter a total of 8 different fairies in Wind Waker, and each one gives you a generous upgrade. Of these, 6 are standard fairy wells and 2 are special with additional requirements. Number 83. Players can connect their GBA and use the Tingle Tuner to locate Tingle statues within each of the 5 dungeons. If each statue is recovered, a reward of 500 rupees is awarded. Just sell the statues to Tingle's brother. Number 84. The game unlocks new features on a secondary playthrough when using a previous game file, including a skull shirt for Link's sister, as well as access to a DX color camera. Number 85. If you collect 10 of the Knight's Crest from the Darknut Knights and take them back to Orca, he will teach you a special move called the Hurricane Spin. Number 86. If players capture a fairy in a bottle and use it on Link's grandmother, she'll whip up a special healing potion soon. When the potion is used up, she will give you a free refill anytime. Thanks, Grandma! Number 87. There's a cheat to reduce the price of everything in Tingle's shop. Jump into the metal pot on the first floor of the Forsaken Forest with the Tingle Tuner activated, and Tingle will tell you that there's a sale. Number 88. There's a common glitch often encountered when battling Puppet Ganon. When Ganon punches Link through a wall, Link can still hit Ganon with light arrows, but Ganon won't be able to hit back. Number 89. There's a way to defeat Kale Demos, the boss of the Forest Haven dungeon, with a single hit. After you cut his vines using the boomerang, the plant will fall, revealing a smaller plant inside. Simply pour forest water onto this smaller plant, and there you have it. Boss defeated. Speedrunners, I hope you're taking notes. Number 90. There's an emergency health hidden during the final battle with Ganondorf. If you're in a pinch, have Link use the hookshot on Zelda to steal a heart from her. Number 91. Link can actually make himself invincible during the battle with Godhan by taking cover in a doorway. For some reason, Godhan is unable to touch Link when he's standing in the doorway, making it an ideal defensive strategy. Number 92. In the opening to Wind Waker, during the story scroll, you can hear a mandolin being played. That's actually a sample taken from Mr. Miyamoto playing the instrument. What a talented guy. Number 93. During development, the Rito were actually designed to be flightless, and the idea of having to carry one around like you do Medley stemmed from this concept. Number 94. Many fans wholeheartedly believe that the Rito postman Kaboli is related to the postman in Ocarina of Time. It is heavily implied through physical similarities, as well as the text from the Nintendo gallery that says he's a third-generation postman. Number 95. Though the Seven Sages never appear or are mentioned in the Wind Waker, stained glass windows in Hyrule Castle depict Rauru, Saria, Darunia, Ruto, Impa, Naboru, but for some reason not Zelda. Instead, Ganon is shown in the center window underneath the Triforce. Number 96. Nintendo's fastest playtester managed to beat the Wind Waker in 10 hours, but Aonuma mentioned that this was after he spent a significant amount of time with the title. He said that the game should take the average player around 40 hours to complete. Number 97. Wind Waker was released in 2013 for the Wii U in 1080p resolution. The revision included all new features such as a streamlined interface, new gamepad functions, and the never-before-seen Hero Mode. The new design was welcomed with open arms in Japan, in contrast to the mixed reviews it received in North America, but ultimately the game didn't fare as well in Japan. Number 98. The King of Red Lions was originally designed to look like he was handcrafted out of wood, but in the end Nintendo chose a more Eastern style for the boat. Number 99. As far as sales are concerned, the game did not live up to its expectations, despite the critical acclaim. The last report shows that the Wind Waker only sold 4.6 million worldwide, as opposed to Ocarina of Time's 7.6 million. Nintendo was convinced that the Wind Waker's poor sales were due to the toon shading design, so they decided to give fans the Zelda they wanted and created the much more realistic Twilight Princess. Number 100. Though it didn't meet sales expectations, the game boosted GameCube sales during its first week. It was also Nintendo's most successful pre-order campaign at the time, with over 560,000 pre-orders before the game's release. Number 101. Some Wind Waker pre-orders were bundled with a port of Ocarina of Time, as well as the more difficult version entitled Ocarina of Time Master Quest. Number 102. Wind Waker received 2 sequels for the Nintendo DS in an effort to continue the Wind Waker's whimsical art style and keep the story alive. Those titles are 2007's Phantom Hourglass and 2009's Spirit Tracks. Number 103. Nintendo actually announced a sequel for Wind Waker in 2004 at a presentation for a game developers conference, claiming more would be revealed later that year at E3. However, when E3 came around, Twilight Princess was announced instead. Number 104. Nintendo admitted that they started initial steps towards a sequel, but demand from fans for a game like Ocarina of Time were hard to ignore. Since Toon Link's proportions weren't suited for horseback, Nintendo ultimately decided on a different direction by releasing Twilight Princess. Nintendo revealed that if they had decided to go through with the Wind Waker sequel, the game would have had a land-based setting. Number 105. Nintendo hid a special Easter egg on the new Zelda Wind Waker HD site for fans to uncover. Buried in the website's source code was the Triforce symbol, which appears to have no impact on the website in general. Number 106. Wind Waker received universal acclaim upon its release. It has maintained a reputation as one of the highest-rated Zelda games to date, and still receives praise for its rich visual design and gameplay. IGN named Wind Waker the 4th best GameCube game of all time, and Nintendo Power claimed that it was the 2nd best only to Resident Evil 4, and 4th best game to ever appear on a Nintendo console. Number 107. The Game Informer once gave Wind Waker a perfect 10 out of 10 score, and commented that it blew all other Zelda games out of the water. Coincidentally, it was also one of only 4 games to ever receive a perfect score from the popular Japanese gaming magazine, Famitsu. Once again, I'm Brendan, and thanks for watching 107 facts about The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. Which weapon's your favorite? Is Saria the best girl? Saria is the best girl. Comment below and let us know. We have new videos dropping every week, so let us know which game you want us to cover next. And if you like getting more from your games, subscribe to the Leaderboard, where we help you game smarter.